Right now, 2:30, millions brace for storm impacts as Debby makes landfall in Florida. How the Carolinas are preparing. Plus, nearly 2,800 people are experiencing homelessness right now in Mecklenburg County, while local leaders are pushing a new court system that could help. And a Charlotte Paralympian makes a special pit stop on his way to Paris. The message he had for people who helped make his journey possible. Thanks for joining us here at 2:30. I'm Jane Monreal. Right now, the Carolinas are gearing up for Debby. Let's start with a live look right now at Myrtle Beach. Wow, look at all the ominous clouds there in the distance. And we see some water on the lens there as the storm approaches. Meteorologist KJ Jacobs joining us now. And KJ, what can we expect in our area?
Jane, we're going to see those showers moving into our area as we move over the next couple of days. Right now, you can see a widespread area of ground covered with rainfall coming in from Tropical Storm Debby. Made landfall just a few hours ago this morning along the Big Bend region of Florida. And this is the latest from the 2 p.m. advisory. Notice it is still a strong tropical storm, max sustained winds at 65 miles an hour. But notice the shield of rain covering a lot of ground. Center of circulation there right along the border between Florida and South Georgia at this time, west of Jacksonville. But you can see there's a lot of moisture that is being pulled and sucked in and deposited over ground across parts of South Georgia now. Flooding is certainly imminent for a large swath of Georgia into South Carolina at this hour, and that trend will continue as the system is expected to stall out over the Carolinas through midweek. You can see it here through Thursday, even into Friday. Will likely have impacts from Debby through the rest of this week as that forward speed is expected to slow down. Here's a look right now at radar, and you can see we have cloud cover here at home, really not getting much in the way of rainfall at this hour, and our rain chances will stay at a minimum for today. Temperatures, it is quite warm and muggy out there. We do have heat index values in the mid-90s at this hour. Over the next 12 hours, temperatures will range between the low and mid-80s, and we'll have a heat index in the low 90s. And notice rain chances overall, perhaps a little drizzle out there, an isolated shower, but overall we will stay dry. The main impacts from Debby is going to be significant flooding, especially along the coast. We're going to talk about the impacts from that excessive rainfall coming up.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, KJ. And right now, all hands are on deck as people prepare for strong winds, heavy rain, and flooding. Crews in Rock Hill started clearing storm drains over the weekend. City officials say trucks are being prepped and they'll have crews on standby. You are urged to pack emergency kits and have non-perishable food on hand in case of power outages. Meanwhile, Debby brought 80-mile-per-hour winds as it made landfall in Florida, triggering evacuations and power outages. It's now classified as a tropical storm. We've learned at least 4 people are dead. NBC's Jesse Kirsch has the latest from Perry, Florida.
Debby made landfall in the United States this morning as a Category 1 hurricane. Powerful wind gusts, storm surge as well. But what we're most concerned about as this moves inland is the pace. Debby is going at what is a relative crawl as far as hurricanes go, and that means that there is real concern about possibly catastrophic flooding. We're looking at Florida, South Carolina, and Georgia, all 3 states' governors declaring states of emergency with the potential for some devastating flooding. In Florida alone, we've seen reports of more than 200,000 power outages. There are impacts on air travel as well, and this is something that is going to be going on for days, again, across multiple states. Some areas could see as much as around 30 inches of rainfall in the days ahead. Back to you.
Meantime, the storm continuing to impact flights at Charlotte Douglas Airport. Cancellations and delays are piling up, carrying over from the weekend. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane from Charlotte Douglas with the latest.
Yeah, good Monday afternoon. We're back at Charlotte Douglas. We've been watching the lines get short, get long, and once again, they're long. Pretty much this is the checkpoint 1. You can see the line stretching around. Over the last 24 hours, Charlotte Douglas had 275 cancellations. We've seen at least a couple dozen cancellations already this morning, and as you can well imagine, it's all because of Debby. There are those cancellations in the Florida area and some on the East Coast. New York LaGuardia Airport has a couple of cancellations already, and this is what's happening. The ripple effect is causing the airlines to scramble to try to figure out ways to get passengers to their destinations. First of all, if if you're going to Florida or parts of the Northeast, you're in for a long wait just trying to get there. Secondly, if you have a connection through those areas, that's also going to cause problems. And of course, with the fact that there are cancellations, there are flight crews that are out of place, pilots as well that are out of place, and the airlines are trying to scramble to get everyone on to their proper destination. This is going to be the situation, and guess what? This is just a window, because over the next couple days, Debby will continue to wreak havoc in the Florida area and then up in the Northeast, continuing to cause delays and cancellations. So the most important thing we do, tell you to pack your patience, but check with your airline ahead of time to make sure your flights are okay. That is, even if they're not having a destination in one of those areas, but if they have a connection, that could also be affected by Hurricane Debby. We're right here at Charlotte Douglas. This is Richard Devane. Send it back to you.
And right now we are seeing over 160 cancellations and over 170 delays. Again, if you're flying today, check your flight status before getting to the airport. We'll be tracking the impacts of Debby all week, but now is a good time to download the WCNC Charlotte mobile app and turn weather alerts on so you can be prepared for potential impacts. Just scan that QR code on your screen to upload our app. Right now, commuters in Charlotte's Elizabeth neighborhood forced to make adjustments after a crash destroyed a Goldline station. It happened yesterday morning at the intersection of East 8th Street and Hawthorne Avenue. The only things left standing, steel guardrails and the concrete platform. We have reached out to CMPD for more details. Meanwhile, CAT says the station remains closed until further notice. Right now, crews are working to remove the leftover glass and debris. There's no timeline yet on when the station will be fully repaired. At this hour, the search is on for the person or people who opened fire, leading to one person being killed and 3 others shot Friday night in East Charlotte. This happened in the 3500 block of Shamrock Drive that's just off Eastway Drive and near the Charlotte Museum of History. Officers say the victims were found lying in the street and inside a home. If you have any information that could help investigators, call Crime Stoppers. Just this summer alone, Charlotte's homeless population is up by about 14%. But county leaders believe a court system already working in South Carolina could help people get the help they need here in the Queen City. Once a month, people can show up to the Pathways Community Center in Rock Hill. If they can show they're making improvements, the state will wipe nonviolent charges from their criminal record. That includes for crimes like shoplifting, trespassing, or simple possession of marijuana. The idea is that the program is less intimidating than a normal courtroom.
All those petty crimes keep you from getting housing and jobs.
People are going to fall down. And the main thing is don't stay down. You get up, you brush yourself off, and start again.
The program's success is now getting the attention of Mecklenburg County District Attorney Spencer Merriweather. He's now looking at what a homeless court could look like in Charlotte and if it could be the solution leaders have been searching for. Within the last several hours, we have learned the remaining counties waiting for the Ecourts system expansion will have to wait even longer. State leaders tell us the system will go online in Cabarrus, Stanley, Union, Anson, and Richmond counties in October of this year, but all other counties will have to wait until 2025. The Ecourts rollout has come with some glitches, even prompting a class action lawsuit when people were allegedly left in jail after their cases were dismissed. You can read more of our previous coverage on Ecourts on our website, WCNC.com. Vice President and soon-to-be Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris is coming to North Carolina this week. She'll be in Raleigh for a campaign event Thursday. She is expected to bring along her vice presidential pick, which she is set to announce tomorrow. Turning now to the forecast as we bring back meteorologist KJ Jacobs. KJ, what can we expect as we are keeping an eye on Debby heading this way?
Well, Jane, we certainly have to plan and prepare for this storm as it is working its way to the north as I speak. We're already getting some cloud cover in, which sometimes can set the mood for changing weather, especially when we can see it happening before our eyes. And that's what's happening today. Really just some spotty rain at this time for various parts of the area. Most of us are dry, really just seeing some of the cloud cover out there for today. But we don't have to look far to see widespread showers. Take a look right now across the coastal southeast region from Florida up through South Georgia into parts of the Carolinas at this time. This is Debby. Debby made landfall this morning, and it's continuing to just churn right here, really pulling in a lot of this tropical moisture, and we're seeing that cloud cover expanded across much of the Carolinas at this time. But really, this storm coming in at 2 p.m. from the latest advisory. Notice the winds, max winds at 65 miles an hour. We still have some wind gusts upwards of 85 miles an hour, so that'll put us at hurricane strength, and this storm will continue to slow its forward speed, as right now it is moving to the north and northeast at about 7 miles an hour. So it is expected to move at a snail's pace, and that is only going to amplify the risk for flooding. We're talking about coastal flooding, talking about urban flooding, flash flooding, streets and roads and things like that will certainly be heavily impacted from a slow moving storm, because it's just going to deposit a lot of rain throughout its track. And you can see it here, it won't go anywhere fast. Between Tuesday and Wednesday, it may meander just a little bit, the center of circulation offshore, but that can certainly have an impact on what we get here in the Piedmont. And notice overall, we will keep rain in the general vicinity of our area, which could certainly produce heavy amounts of rain across the Charlotte area as well, especially east of 77. So of course, we'll continue to watch it very closely, but taking a look now at the excessive rain impacts, bullseye right along the low country through the Grand Strand up into parts of Wilmington, even inland areas away from the coast. Notice the coast is right here. Inland areas could have high impacts from heavy rain. So we're also looking at day in and day out of rainfall. Areas along the coast could have anywhere from 15 to 20 inches of rainfall. To put that in perspective, we can see some areas with more than a foot of rain, upwards of nearly 2 feet of rain. So that can certainly have huge implications on infrastructure over time. 2 to 4 inches for parts of the Piedmont, isolated higher amounts where we get some of those stronger cells to set up. And when you're looking at a system that's going to sit in place, you're seeing some of the same areas hit over and over again. Watch how it's churning through Georgia into South Carolina through Wednesday, and today's just Monday. So this is really going to sit in position, and some of the same areas will be hit and inundated with flooded conditions from this system. So outside now, notice we have mainly cloudy skies across the area. Rain chances, I'm keeping them pretty low for today, but they will kick up to anywhere from 20 to 30% at times. Your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast, so the outlook, it looks to be a great one. We will have daily showers. Rain chances are likely through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even into your Friday. The first part of your weekend could be impacted, but those rain chances will start to taper off by the second half of the weekend. Jane?
Thanks, KJ. Day 10 of the Paris Olympics are now underway. In just 30 minutes, Team USA women's 3x3 basketball team will play for bronze. They'll take on Team Canada. 2 athletes with Carolina connections you should look out for. De'Erica Hamby, who graduated from Wake Forest, and Butler High School grad and 2-time North Carolina Player of the Year, Sierra Burdick. Hometown triathlete Carson Kuf will soon make his way to Paris to compete in the 2024 Paralympics. He lost his leg in a boating accident in Lake Norman a few years back, but now he says nothing will stop him. Before he headed out, Kuf had a very special pit stop to make, thanking those who gave him a second chance at life. WCNC Charlotte's Austin Walker shares their story.
Reliving a day.
I think that you were in shock and didn't realize that you were in shock.
Carson Kuf will never forget.
I was out with some friends wakeboarding, and then we got my legs tangled up with the prop.
The Charlottean lost his leg in a boating accident on Lake Norman 5 years ago.
We had firefighters standing in water on the back of the boat.
But in a turn of events, he now is a triathlete. Heading to Paris to compete for gold in the 2024 Paralympics, he stands with friends and family who had his back from the beginning, but
I can say thank you.
Looks at a different team.
And I'm able to do that because of you guys.
The women and men of the Lake Norman Volunteer Fire Department, EMT and Mooresville Fire, the ones who got him out of the water and to the hospital.
And that just means when you guys did your work, you not only did your job, but you did it perfectly.
Wanting to meet the faces that physically held him up.
And there's not a better group of people you could ask to have working on you.
Clough given the gift of life.
This is the OG, this is my OG suit.
Giving them a gift of his own.
I wouldn't have this without you guys.
His Team USA suit framed, a reminder to the departments they changed a life that day. His team locked arm in arm with him, and he is locked on the gold.
What a great gesture. Clough is set to compete on September 1st. And if you are looking to keep up with the dozens and dozens of athletes from the Carolinas competing in the Summer Games, just scan the QR code on your screen. We have a list of Olympians and their stories so you can follow their journeys. All right, so today marks the 10th day of the Olympics, KJ, so we're going to take a look at the latest medal count here. Team USA has a dominant lead in overall medals.
Ooh.
You know the number? 75.
75.
That's right. Very good.
Yes.
China slipped past host nation France for the second spot, while Great Britain and Australia round out the top 5. Anything excite you the most, KJ?
I have been watching the gymnastics.
Yes.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
It's
some good
incredible.
stories there.
Yes,
right?
a lot of great stories there. Swimming, incredible to be able to do that.
Even there.
I'm exhausted looking at them swim.
Seriously. That's why they're at the Olympics,
Right.
and we are here hanging out with you. Not that that's a complaint.
Yes, and we're going to be hanging out with some soggy conditions, so be prepared for rain that will carry over for several days, Jane, that will likely lead to some flooding. So we could see some street flooding, some river flooding, and areas, especially to our south, will be heavily impacted. So we'll have a ripple effect over the coming days.
All right, I know you'll be monitoring that over
Yes.
the coming days as well. And we thank you for joining us here at 2:30. You can find these stories and more on your website or on the WCNC mobile app. And we'll be back with more of the day's headlines at 6 on WCNC Charlotte. Have a great day.